Big news to start your afternoon as a counterproposal to the third stimulus package is introduced by Republicans. The items are detailed with no numbers. Sound familiar? It is familiar. But in this recording, I go over what is in the counterproposal from the Republicans, how it compares to the Democratic proposal from Joe Biden, $1.29 trillion. Is there FPUC retro in there? Is there MSC? Is there SSI or SSDI? Well, the keywords they used to describe their bill, narrowly targeted. I wasn't sure what that meant. So I went to the casino. I was sitting at the bar having some $12 ice cream, and then Sirloin came over and said, "Hey, can you move on over?" I said, "Hey, Sirloin, long time no see. How are you?" And I said, I want to sort of know, do they have anything on the menu that's narrowly targeted? Narrowly targeted? No, that's no. They only have $12 ice cream here. Nothing's narrowly targeted. I said, well, the Republican counterproposal to Joe Biden's bill has some stimulus checks in. Ooh, stimulus, yes, but they're narrowly targeted. Oh, that does not sound good. I said, you don't like narrowly targeted? No, I drive a Cadillac. Why would I like narrowly targeted? Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I'm here, you're here, and I'm narrowly targeted. Well, no, I had a big full lunch, so I'm a little bit not particularly narrowly targeted at the moment. I'm a little stuffed, but thank you for that wonderful, delicious $12 ice cream at the casino. I'm so excited you joined me on Third Stimulus Check and Third Stimulus Package, where we have the details of what that counterproposal is to the Republican, to the Democratic proposal of $1.9 trillion. Is it good? Is it bad? And does it leave you a narrowly targeted flavor in your mouth? I'm so excited you're here. If you've not subscribed, please subscribe, because throughout the day, you're going to see incredible comprehensive reporting on this channel you won't see anywhere else. 24 hours of programming, the only channel of its kind. Now at 94 million views in 9 months. We're trying to hit to 100 million. We've added 2 million in the last 2 days. Let's get it rocking and rolling. Make sure you subscribe. It's free to subscribe, free to watch, free to chat, free to send me DMs. And if you need help with anything, reach out to the volunteers. They're helping you not 5 weeks from now, not 5 months from now, not 5 years from now. They are in the pinned comment helping you with rent and utilities around the corner and around the clock. So make sure you subscribe. Also, if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. And also like this video. In this video, I'm going to go over the Republican counterproposal to the Democratic bill. And I'll discuss with you where it is, where it's landing, and why it's there. Then I'll be cutting back to new details that are surfacing today that suggests that this bill is just not really where it needs to be. Not only is it not as promised to you, but it's also ineffective in its low numbers. And I'm not referring to the counterproposal, I'm referring to Joe Biden's bill. It's incredibly detailed, and let's get right to it on the breaking news. The breaking news is that we have a Republican counterproposal to Joe Biden's bill. The Republican counterproposal was prepared by Mitt Romney, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, and Ron Portman. If you recognize Ron Portman's name, you should. One, a few days ago, he said he's quitting the Senate because he's tired of the partisan wranglings. Well, guess what he did? He wrote a partisan bill. Gotta love him. He's also the individual in summer of 2020 who said, I don't want to give you FPUC. I'd rather not give you a penny for FPUC. I'm just going to give you money to get back to work because otherwise you're going to stay home and get lazy on unemployment assistance. I'll give you 3 weeks at $300 a week to get back to work. Otherwise, I'm not going to give you FPUC. That Ron Portman. So what is Mitt Romney and Ron Portman's idea? Well, the idea comes after a series of events, and this is very important. Over the last 2 weeks, Joe Biden had Zoom chats with Republicans and Democrats, 16 people approximately every single time, discussing how they could reach an agreement on the stimulus package, the third stimulus package, with bipartisan support. And at no time did anyone say no or no thank you. They said, yeah, let's talk a little more about it. Well, I'll get back to you more about it. Those talks went on, and viewers and myself said it looked like people were deliberately delaying. And that certainly came to fruition. Was actually true. On Monday and Tuesday last week, Joe Biden personally said, I'll tell you how this goes in a few weeks, I'll get back to you. His press secretary said, I'll tell you how this goes in a few weeks, I'll get back to you. We said, you can't wait another couple of weeks. You promised us a bill on day 1. This is now week 3. And so he pushes the purple power that follows his channel to get the bill introduced to the House. And that worked. On Thursday and Friday, Nancy Pelosi had his bill in the House, and it's likely to get voted upon and approved this coming week, she now tells us, and the Senate thereafter. And on Friday, Joe Biden changed as well. Joe Biden reportedly was in a meeting with Harris, and during that meeting, Janet Yellen, his Treasury Secretary, rushed and said, what's going on here? You need to get this bill out right away. I know you're having Zoom chats with individuals, but it's taking too long. You need the bill to go out and finalize right away. We wrote this bill for that situation. We didn't write it for the next situation. What is she referring to? I'll get to that important detail shortly in this video. It really is significant. But at that point in juncture, he then said to people in the press, Joe Biden, you know what? I got to do this bill now. I'm not waiting any longer. What is he referring to? He's referring to Republicans that weren't giving him a yes or no. That were sort of saying, it sounds good, let's talk a little more. Well, then how did the day start on Sunday? The day started on Sunday with, out of nowhere, came a letter, which the viewers of the members of this channel have a copy of in the PDFs downloads, in which they wrote the President of the United States saying, thank you for your $1.9 trillion bill, but we don't like it, and we have our counter proposal. A little bit shady? Yes, specifically because they were still negotiating, and suddenly out of nowhere they said, here's our counter proposal. We don't like what you're doing. Now, here's what's also confusing to viewers and myself, is that on Thursday and Friday, the U.S. House progressives, like Bernie Sanders, like AOC, and ironically, VP Harris is a progressive as well, wrote a letter to Biden and Harris saying, we want a stimulus check every month until the pandemic ends, and we don't think your stimulus package is big enough. They wrote the letter, and guess what the response was? Silence. No response from Harris, who wrote the bill calling for $2,000 a month every month for 6 months until the pandemic goes away or unemployment goes down in July of 2020 with Sanders. She wrote the bill. No response from the Biden camp. Today, when the Biden camp got the letter from Romney and Portman and Murkowski and Collins, they immediately did have a comment saying, we're looking forward to negotiating with you. Does that mean that Biden and Harris are negotiating with the Republicans, but not negotiating with the progressives that want a multiple stimulus check structure for you? Viewers and I were a little perplexed by that. But let's turn to what the Republicans propose and what the Biden camp propose. If you don't know what's going on, viewers of this channel have been detailed by me over the last 3 weeks with a 30-page summary. What am I referring to? This channel obtained a 30-page summary exclusively from the Biden camp, which summarizes the upwards of 6,000-page bill in advance of its introduction. It delineates the 22 items that are in the third stimulus package bill that Biden explains at minimum. And now we have the Republican counterproposal in a letter. So both those PDFs are available to members. I'm going to go through both of them and compare what is in one and what is not in the other. First, Joe proposes a stimulus check of $1,400 for individuals, $1,400 for children, $2,800 for couples, $3,200 for adult dependents, for an income level of about $73,000 the last 2019 earnings. The Republicans, before I continue, the Republican proposal has no numbers anywhere, but some places and also their interviews this week can suggest where their numbers are. The Republicans' counterproposal, an additional round of stimulus checks for families in need of assistance, the most, including their dependent children and adults. Okay, so one, it does include adult dependents. It does include adult dependents. That's very good. Two, it doesn't say the amount. But in subsequent interviews, the Republican leadership that drafted this letter said, we want stimulus checks to go to people with a lower income level than the Democrats are proposing. So instead of $73,000, it could be as low as $40,000 2019 earnings. Meaning, if you got that $600 stimulus check from Trump a few weeks ago, you may not get this check from these Republicans because they don't want you to get a check. Now, if this sounds contradictory, it should. Romney was among the group that gave you the $600 stimulus check in December. Romney said to press in December that he was working both sides of the political spectrum under the second stimulus package to get a $600 stimulus check in there for millions of Americans at a $73,000 threshold. Now he's back just a few weeks later saying, you know what, I got to drop the threshold because it's too bold. It wasn't too bold when you wrote it just a few weeks ago in December at $73,000 under the second stimulus package with Trump. Doesn't make particular sense. Next item. Joe Biden wants to do FPUC at $400 a week going to now September. It's currently $300 a week under the second stimulus to March. He wants to extend UI to September and also PUA to September. So what does the Republicans propose? Extend enhanced unemployment benefits at its current level. That means keep it at $300 a week. No bueno. So neither side is doing FPUC retro, and Joe's doing it $400 a week, not $600 as a week as he promised retroactively. And the Republicans want to do $300 a week going forward at the same level it is currently. Next, rent and utilities, free internet, childcare, number 7, 8, and 9, and 10 under Joe Biden's third stimulus package bill. Are they in the GOP plan? No, all of those items are not in there. No rent, no utilities, no free internet, no childcare. Next, Joe Biden's number 13 item, business grants for existing businesses to get throughout this pandemic. Is it in the Republicans' plan? No, it's not in the Republicans' plan as well. Number 14, business loans. Joe wants to give you a business loan to go start a new business, not for existing businesses, but to go start a new business. He wants you to be an entrepreneur, to start new things and to get out of this pandemic with a new livelihood. Republicans, no. So what do the Republicans propose? An additional round of PPP. I can't say it with a straight face. There's currently a round of PPP on the second stimulus package. It is not exhausted. It's still sitting there. There's also $850 billion of PPP sitting around from the second and the there have been more than 3 rounds of PPP at this point. There's $850 billion of unused PPP still sitting at SBA. I mean, at this point, what are we trying to shoot for? $1 billion of unused PPP? So they literally proposing another round of PPP. It makes no sense. Also, they're proposing for economic injury disaster loan program to be extended. There actually is you can still get an EIDL loan by going to sba.gov. Did they not realize that? So why are they proposing something that already is still there? Not particularly clear. Again, not a loan to start a new business. EIDL loans are for existing businesses. Next, Joe Biden proposes $1,400 a week for paid sick leave. This is really good. So if your child had to stay home because the school's closed because of COVID, and you had to stay home to take care of the kid, $1,400 a week of paid sick leave. Really, really good. Not on the Republican proposal. Student aid supplement, $1,700 per student in college, Joe proposes. Not on the Republican proposal. Child tax credit, not on the Republican proposal. Expansion of earned income tax credit. Child care tax credit, no, not on the Republican proposal. And the most shocking one, hazard pay. Not in the Republican proposal. Now, this is where people just don't understand congressional leaders. Mitt Romney, who wrote a hazard pay bill in summer of 2020, appeared on broadcast news and interviews, got acclaimed by this channel. I praised the bill 1,000 times over. Talked about it, introduced the bill, called it for, had it go through subcommittees and everything. A wonderfully written, excellent bill. Doesn't have hazard pay in his own 2021 bill. It's sort of like Harris not doing her multiple stimulus checks. If this sounds consistent, it is consistent. The consistent inconsistencies of congressional leaders where they do one thing and the next minute they act like they never did it doesn't make sense. So what else is in the Republican proposal? Enhancing SNAP. It already was enhanced under 3 executive orders last week. And provide money for opening schools and childcare. That's in the that was covered by executive orders as well. We recognize your calls for unity, and we want to work in good faith with your administration to meet the health, economic, and societal challenges of the COVID crisis, the Republicans wrote in their letter. With your support, we believe Congress can once again craft a package that will promote meaningful, effective assistance to the American people and set us on a path to recovery. Well, drop in the comments below to this video if you think it's effective assistance if there's no hazard pay. Do you think it's effective assistance if there's no SSI and SSDI, Social Security or railroad benefits of 20% increase or $200 a month? Do you think it's effective assistance if it's $300 a week of FPC? Do you think it's effective assistance if it's not FPC retro covering you from July last year to December? Do you think it's effective assistance if it's even less stimulus checks than Joe Biden proposes when everyone should really be giving you bigger, bolder stimulus checks? And in fact, Mitt Romney was among the people who said you were going to get a $2,000 stimulus check this year. Do you think that's effective assistance? I'd love to hear you. Drop in the comments below. I believe that the bill should be less than 1.9 trillion because what much of the Biden administration has laid out has nothing to do with COVID, says Bortman. That's actually untrue. It was true about the HEROES Act, but it's not true about Biden's plan. There's almost no pork in Biden's plan. As for example, with regards to direct payments, we think they should be much more targeted. Can we read those two sentences together again? He says, much of what the administration has laid out has nothing to do with COVID. For example, regarding stimulus checks, they should be more targeted. Stimulus checks have nothing to do with COVID? Okay. I don't understand that. Maybe you can explain it to me in the comments below. The administration, the Biden administration, has not commented about the progressives' proposal. Really not clear, but they did respond to this one. His committee chair said, we've been engaged with members of Congress from both parties in both houses over the course of the last 2 weeks, and we can continue to do so and look forward to working more. Working more? Is he working also with the progressives or just ignoring them? What do you think? Drop in the comments below. I love to feature them in tomorrow's recording. What's important to understand as you sit here today is that the Republican proposal won't see light of day. It's just never going to go anywhere. But the question is, why is that getting a response for the Biden administration and not the progressives' stimulus check every month? I'd love to hear your comments, and I may feature them in tomorrow's recording. Meantime, subscribe to this channel. Subscribe because this is the best, most comprehensive channel, and because it's so comprehensive, I have another video coming up in just a few minutes on What the Chuck. I go more into detail of why there's calls for a bigger stimulus package than even 1.9. Also consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. Stay informed, stay focused, and save my life for more.